What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Nerd Bites Weekly Show. I'm your host, DC. Absent tonight, unfortunately, is Jen. She's having a down day, but that's all right. We got an honorary co-host, as I like to call him, Bryce Oquaye, man. What's up? You've been on the show several times now. Good to have you back, man.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be back. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me and the homies.
Yeah. Let's get into that. You brought along some friends tonight that are working with you on your new project, DUPPY. So let's get into that. You guys can start introducing yourself one by one if you want, and what you guys do and all that.
I guess I'll go first. So my name is Marley Carter. I'm from Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm a hip hop artist, also food activist, and I love anime most of all. That's kind of what like brought me to this realm. First started like really like getting into it.
That's awesome, man. I immediately noticed your Naruto shirt. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's top 5 anime ever for me. So.
Yes.
Well, I guess I'll go next. My name is Rock for short. It's short for Respect Original Creation. I'm a hip hop and R&B artist, and I also love anime, man. Like, it's been a part of my life for all of my life. Dragon Ball Z was the first anime that I ever watched, and it's actually been a big part of my life. Especially up until now, dealing with my music and everything and how I move in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's great to be on here. I appreciate you for having us.
Of course. Happy to have you all. And then we got one more down here.
Lando.
You're on mute, homie. I don't know if he knows he's on.
All right, so we're gonna use it. We're gonna use this as an opportunity to say, all right, our introduction to Lando. Lando, he's like this hybrid of Vegeta and Krillin. You know what I mean? Like he just
he really is. He really is. Lando is one of the most creative people that we've ever met. He has his own style. He moves how he moves, and it works for him. Lando B is an all-around dope artist. He does hip hop, a little bit of R&B. He acts. He does it all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fellow actors. Yes.
There we go. He's off mute now.
I know the Vegeta Krillin comparison sounds wild, but the thing is though, it's like you can't stop Vegeta, and then at the same time, Krillin, he's like this hyper creative fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the one that like bent the Kamehameha. You know what I mean? That's Lando.
I think he got his mic off. Lando, what you got to say, Lando? Oh no!
Says he's not.
I must be having problems with his mic input though. Discord's weird about that shit sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, that was Lando's introduction. Lando the GOAT.
That's Lando.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what's up.
Well, tell me a little bit about y'all's group, OKURI, OKURI Clan. How did y'all get started? What was some of your what was some of your all's inspirations for creating the group? And yeah, get into it.
All right, so pretty much we're all friends. Me and Marley, we met back in middle school. Marley and Lando met, I believe, after high school. We're in high school, and then we all just kind of got together, and we all had this one dream. We all make music, and so we've been rocking for years now. As far as OKURI goes, we ran into B Mad, and we already knew that he was a dope artist, and everything. And he does, like the cover arts for a lot of the artists in Lexington. He's made a cover art for me, made a cover art for Marley. And he hit us up pretty much saying, hey, I got this thing coming out. I would love to have a soundtrack to it. And honestly, I mean, when it comes to shows here in the city, for real, you can't see us without each other. You feel me? Like if you go to a show, you see Marley, you see Lando, you see me. It's so we were already locked in together. He was like, "Y'all are dope. I would love to have a soundtrack with all three of y'all." And man, like we got that chemistry. You feel me? So he was like, we were trying to figure out a name, because we're all our individual artists. We do our own music. But when we get together, there needs to be a name. Trying to figure it out. And B-Man was like, yo, how about like OKURI? He told us the history behind OKURI. And was like, bro, that actually makes sense. And we just took on the name OKURI Clan, just to make it in the essence of anime, having a clan.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And
Especially
it's
Naruto.
And it's a fly woo homage too, which is also
Mm-hmm.
really, really dope. And I gotta throw in there too, because like, these brothers were always popping in at Mad Wavy.
Yeah.
And what's important to note there is like, we've had so many amazing performers at Mad Wavy, but these brothers, every time they popped in and killed it, I'd be like, oh man, like, yeah, I gotta hear more. What's up or whatever. And then, I'm one of those people. You know me. It's like I'm with if it's something that I could do as far as like filling the gap or just putting some action behind something. That's the first thing I'm gonna do is get to it. And I was like, yo, okay, hold on. Like, this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to like do something really, really fly with this project. And then also like these brothers need to be making some music together. Like, what are we talking? And we be nerding out about stuff. Like, it was funny is we was doing the alumni tape, the photo shoot stuff for that. And we was in a photo together looking at comics and stuff like that, and it was just something we did off of the strength of like, yo, we on some nerd shit. This is just how we get down. And then
there's Lando.
Hey, Lando.
There's Lando.
Okay. Yeah,
So it just was cool. It was kind of one of those things that it's one of those things that you when you look at how everything fell together, it's like, all right, yeah, this is the right timing. Everything had the right timing, and it's been cool.
Sounds super organic. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much bouncing off what the fellas said. We just had similar interests, and just right off the bat, like he was saying at the Mad Wavy photo shoot, we just immediately jumped into the anime conversation, and we had a few sidebars because of course he had the comic books there, and we had all been fans, of his artwork and everything that he's done, the flyers and the previous stuff that he had worked on before we got to that conclusion. But we just immediately hit it off, and after the photo shoot, we talked about everything, and it may have been a couple of weeks and we was done with the soundtrack. So it was just right timing.
That's awesome.
Right place, right timing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tell me a little bit not me specifically, but tell the viewers and me a little bit about DUPPY. It's a type of monster, right?
Yeah, so Duppies come from Caribbean folklore.
Okay.
And so off top, Duppies are kind of a mixture of like either ancestral spirits, malevolent spirits, maybe both. So it's definitely something that was really, really, it was folklore, old wives' tales and stuff that were really present in my upbringing. Having a Caribbean family and stuff, it's kind of the stuff your aunties and your mother tell you to go to bed quiet type stuff, right? But then getting older and kind of finding out more about your heritage and everything like that, and just like it's really really cool. And within all of that, with wanting to use them within the story that I was writing also came from like the fact that there's some sort of iconography in a lot of my artwork and within my branding these were all duppies, these little ghosts and things that I would put in there.
Okay.
And ways to just kind of do something fly and modernize just mythology and folklore that people don't typically know anything about it. And then that graduated into this story about this guy named Moses, who's essentially this exorcist sorcerer type of character. He's a practitioner of Obeah, and he took an extreme tragic loss to this entity called the Laughing Man, and that sends him away from home and puts him in this space of like needing to get stronger with the intention of coming back and getting rid of it. So he goes out and has this whole journey that will be elaborated upon at some point. But within that, we enter into the story of Moses is returning home, and first things first is he has to get to his home base. The person that he has left, that he remembers and that remembers him, get to this home base so he can start on this mission of like getting rid of the Laughing Man.
Nice. Yeah. So how does the soundtrack play into that as far as like, is it like play track during this book or play track during this scene? Is it set up like that, or is it more of just like the general feel of the book that you guys procured the soundtrack?
It's the general feel of the book, and so the thing is too is like throughout the course of the story, it kind of, the track list in itself is three songs, but it really plays up to the tone of everything that's happening. And with this storyline and everything being so steeped within Caribbean folklore, like it was fly like with Power, for example, kind of being reminiscent. It made people think of Black Panther, but that's kind of the point of like using those more Afrocentric sounds, those Caribbean sounds and stuff for this in particular.
Gives you the real vibes. Okay, yeah.
Exactly. We wanted it to feel real hip hop, but then also at the same time we wanted it to feel Caribbean, and we wanted it to feel Geechee Gullah. We wanted it to feel New York. Like it's a bunch of different things that kind of connect, because it connects with like the tone of the story.
I love that.
The story in itself takes place in this city called Jamdo, which is kind of like this amalgamation of like you could think New York also maybe blended with like New Orleans or Charleston, South Carolina, places with like this blended Caribbean presence.
Okay.
So it gives that type of vibe, and you like when you even first enter into the story, there's like almost like this carnival type of festival going on. So he's coming back in the middle of just like a whole lot of chaos, with the intention of like, just being there and present in the city to hunt this thing down, while the most energy, both positive and negative, is being like circulated.
Yeah, energy is a good word, especially for the track that I heard. That Power track. I mean, it just adds a lot of texture, I think, to your work, Bryce. I think it's just a really good idea, and I've not seen this much where you have a soundtrack, a solid soundtrack for like to give the texture, to give the ideology, the feel of the book. I think it's such a great idea. I'm so excited for the project.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so the Kickstarter is going to be launching pretty soon, right?
Yeah, very soon. I've been doing this pre-launch campaign and trying to continue to run up the promotional stuff, run up the single, and I'm my intention is to try to go ahead and have the actual campaign be launched by the end of the month, maybe beginning of April. But for me, it's just most important that the engagement is right. So, if that means, running the pre-launch extra weeks or whatever, I'm all about making sure things marinate correctly. So,
Yeah.
all in all, very, very soon we're gonna be going live with this Kickstarter.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I've already saved it. I put the link in the chat for everyone. I pinned it at the top too, so you guys can pre-save as well. Let's get into the music side a little bit more since we got all y'all here. All right, so like I just gotta know for my personal, like, who's your favorite artist of all time? Favorite artist of all time. I gotta know one by one.
For me, Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Kendrick Lamar,
Hell
hands
yeah.
down. Yeah, that's my GOAT right there. Close second is JID.
Okay, nice. All right, next.
I think it's kind of hard for me to say that, but I'm gonna always go with J. Cole first, and then the next two is just between Jay-Z and Kendrick.
Okay, you think J. Cole's really gonna retire like he says?
Honestly, no.
I don't
No.
either.
He's not retired.
I think it's just role play.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
No.
But about me, bouncing off what Marley said, I mean, there's so many artists out there for me to just stick with one artist and be like, yes, this is the one. This is my guy.
No, I get it. I get it. I like to ask the tough questions though.
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
But if I had to pick, if I did have to pick, it would be, I got one and then I got an honorable mention. Well, actually, I got two honorable mentions, so I really got three.
Okay.
One will always be, Kendrick Lamar. That's my, that's my GOAT. But the honorable mentions, it'll be Smino and Stephon Marley.
Okay.
And Stephon Marley. That's the other honorable mention.
Okay.
Smino is underrated, man. Smino is highly, highly underrated, man.
Yes.
All right, Bryce, what about you for the viewers?
Man. So if we talking music, I'm gonna mix in a little bit of I'm gonna say my man, this coming from a biased place, but also it's objectively facts.
Okay.
Nas.
My guy. I love you, dude.
You know what I'm saying? Because Nas is and has been the greatest and most consistent MC throughout our lives.
Yes, sir.
And even if he gets passed up here and there, because there's always going to be somebody you got to give, like right now Kendrick is that man.
He is, yeah.
But Nas is stood the test of time because he dropped classics with Hit Boy while Kendrick was that man. So like
he did, and he paved the way for Kendrick.
And he paved the way for Kendrick, and he paved the way for JID and stuff. And not to mention, like I think all of our favorite MCs, because I will say Kendrick Lamar is presently my favorite MC.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too.
Yeah, but like I think that if we were to take the current top 5, they're all gonna have their number 1 likely be Nas, and their number 2 will likely be either Wayne or Jay-Z.
Yeah.
That's what you go. That's what I feel like. I hear from a lot of people. But then also the biased end of it is Queens, man. I'm from Queens.
Fair enough. Yeah, Queensbridge.
I'm from Queens, man. So
Nas,
I do feel like those are some of the forefathers, though.
Yeah, Nas is my goat too. He's definitely my goat. Illmatic's the best album to ever exist. Straight up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've talked about that plenty of times, man.
Yeah.
I think that we will never get a more solid album than Illmatic. I think Illmatic. But I will say there's some close albums to what Illmatic did, and and one of them in particular is
Good
is
Kid,
not
Mad.
Good Kid, Mad City.
I was gonna say
Actually,
Good Kid, Mad City is my second favorite hip hop
Good
album
Kid,
ever.
Mad City. The only reason why I won't stand it next to Illmatic is because I think To Pimp a Butterfly takes that for me.
Okay, I could see why. Like from an artistry perspective, he does more artistically on To Pimp a Butterfly. I just like the deep hip hop roots of Good Kid, Mad City. It felt so grounded in that like those Nas and layers that, you know, I don't know. I think it felt more like classic hip hop.
I feel that.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I think honestly, like Good Kid, Mad City, felt like a revolution at the time, and it felt like it was transforming like that decade when it came out. And oh yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, so here's why I'll say, and y'all let me know what you think, because
All right.
like here's why I say To Pimp a Butterfly is closer to Illmatic for me, because if you think about Illmatic, like narratively, Illmatic is like a film, right? So
Yes.
you're going top to bottom through it. I feel like it's almost like imagining Nas step out of his house at the top at the top of the album, and then like you just going through this everything that he's dealing with that within that day. That it's like it really stamps that time frame, right?
Yeah.
And like Good Kid, Mad City is close because it feels biographical, but I think To Pimp a Butterfly feels to me like a Spike Lee movie. And I could see if we were placing these things with film, like Illmatic would be that John Singleton film, and To Pimp a Butterfly would be that Spike Lee, like Do the Right Thing type of film for me. And
Yeah,
that's kind of
I can
why
see that.
I view it kind of like that.
Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly to me is like it felt more impactful as a album like Illmatic. Like that's how they compare to me. Um I do I think Section 80 is underrated though, I'm gonna be honest. I
I
really
agree.
fuck with Section 80.
No, for real. Section 80 is way underrated, especially with how he put it together. And even the features that were on it too.
Yeah.
Like I literally
Like
listen to Section 80 every single day.
now, Section 80, that outro, Absol's outro probably had the
Crazy.
outros on that I've heard. So like it's just like
Crazy
that
shit.
that outro made me want to run into a brick wall type shit. Like
Section 80 is so underrated that people think Good Kid, Mad City's Kendrick's first album.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stupid. Rigor Mortis, man, that song always hits like
Man,
crack when
Rigor
it
Mortis
comes
is
on.
my absolute favorite. That's actually what made me want to get like deeper into hip hop and try different things,
I
because
love
when
that.
Rigor Mortis and
ADHD.
Rigor Mortis and ADHD ADHD was the first Kendrick Lamar song that I ever heard.
Okay.
Yes, same
And
here. That's how I
yeah,
discovered Section 80.
yeah, and then Rigor Mortis, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It was like, yo, okay, so you can do both. You can have like a, slow, feel good kind of bop. You feel me? And then Rigor Mortis was like, all right, you could just go off. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Do what you do.
if I'm no really quick, and if I must say, I haven't heard High Power yet.
You never heard High
Are
Power?
you dead
No,
ass?
I'm talking. No, I'm talking about y'all. Y'all ain't mentioned High Power yet. That's
Oh,
crazy.
okay.
What you mean? I have a remix to High Power. What do you mean?
Okay.
You didn't even throw it on the list though.
But I'm
You
saying,
gave everybody's brother.
ADHD and Rigor Mortis was the first ones that I heard, but High Power was definitely the one
Throw
to
3
really,
fingers in the air.
bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
You raised everybody's
High
blood
Power.
pressure in a moment.
Mine was cartoons and cereal. That was the first.
Yes, cartoons
Oh
and cereal.
yeah,
And that's what's even crazier because cartoons and cereal isn't even out on all platforms.
You
You can
can't
only
get it
find it
anywhere. Yeah,
on YouTube.
YouTube TV. That's it. Or
Yeah.
YouTube. That's it. Yeah.
You know, cartoons and cereal is one of those records that you can uniquely place with that the Toonami generation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why I think it's so powerful because I feel like the energy that cartoons and cereal gives off is literally like, all right, like you know that feeling of like I'm sick. You a teenager absorbing this. You're absorbing Toonami and these things, but also at the same time, it's like I'm not a kid either. I still kind of got to go outside.
That little loop of
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote. I have that shit stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Hey.
Like for real, because
Yeah.
it was so funny. It was so funny because when I heard this, like, because I don't know what it is about me, but like every time when people are talking, like when people are following like trends or whatever and doing things, it's like okay, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna listen to them because everybody was talking about it at the time, right? But then I stumbled upon it. Like I was just walking home and it just played in my ear, on my YouTube. And I became a fan, and then that's when I became a fan. I became a fan of his more ever since I heard cartoons and cereal.
And what's crazy is I think everybody just stumbled onto cartoons and cereal
Yeah.
because it wasn't out
And
everywhere. Like he didn't put on no album. He didn't do anything like that. It was just.
the thing is, it was supposed to be on Good Kid, Mad City, but there was too many samples he had to clear, and so like he just left it.
Yeah, I can see that because he had all of the cartoon sounds.
And that's why it's not on Spotify or anything too. Yeah, you can't get it.
Yeah. But but that you need a record like that because it like I think almost every single one of our goats had that one record that almost is like a legendary record. It's just like a word of mouth record. Like you remember when the thing popped out, but then it's almost like you have a hard time pointing it out to people because it might get snatched down. Where is it?
Yeah, it was honestly one of those records that was really powerful for me because every time I listened to it, it triggered core memories and the way he made cartoons and cereal synonymous and bring me back as a kid, even.
Somebody
Saturday morning.
Somebody that fell off that really had that vibe. I don't know what he's been doing. It's ever since he got signed, Chance the Rapper, man. Like nostalgia, that song hits so hard.
Now, Chance the Rapper, because the one thing with Chance the Rapper, there's a lot of people who, whenever you mention Chance the Rapper, they either go 10-day or they go acid rap. Me, it was acid rap that got me.
Acid rap was the same for me. Yeah.
I mean, we in that age range where I think that's a generational thing. It's the same thing with like Joey Badass,
man.
Where you know what I'm saying? Like you either was
1989. Good Lord,
exactly. Man. You was tapped into 99 and pro era, or you caught on around the time he dropped Christ Conscious, that American Badass joint.
Yeah,
I think the first Baptist joint.
Chance actually dropped something very recently that I feel like kind of got back to that old Chance called Stars Out.
I did hear Stars Out. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty fire record. I ain't gonna lie. I just wish he would do more like that to go back.
Felt like once he got signed, man, I don't know. It's like he sold out or some shit.
It's a very it's oh, go ahead, Lando.
I'm not. I don't think he's well. In a sense, I get where you come from when you say that he sold out, but like it's just after what was it, The Coloring Book? Because that was a good album. After that, like you kind of like sit on it for a little bit, and then that's when TikTok was really taking over, and he wanted to come in that wave and try to make songs like that, and wanted to be a part of that wave, but it just didn't. It ended up crashing and burning.
That's fair.
Some rappers can do that, and some rappers just can't, you know, and like that's what Chance trying to do, you know.
I feel like Chance, where Chance messed up was, you know, with a lot of these acts and their entry points being like connecting with everybody generationally, culturally, with things that like we can all really like relate to in those moments. You talk about like the tsunami moments, being outside, XYZ, and then Chance was one of those guys. But then as everybody's growing with him, he all of a sudden took this sharp turn into something that wasn't as relatable anymore. So it was a thing of like you don't have to so abruptly transform. Like it's kind of like, but like look how long it took for Kendrick to get to the point to give us a Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Like he didn't come out 2 albums deep and then suddenly say, all right, everybody, we talk about mental health now.
Yeah.
Like you gotta give people a little bit more of a journey. And I don't think Chance did that. He went from, oh yeah, we all know what it is, smoking weed, X, Y, and Z and stuff, to like, hey, you know what? Praise God, we married now, to people that were like 25.
Hey, but to be honest with you, some of Chance's gospel like inspired tracks are some of my favorite Chance tracks.
Yeah. Very good.
And that's cool. That's cool, but you gotta mix it up. I think Chance just lost his audience. Like you gotta know the people that you speaking to, and he was talking to kids.
Yeah.
So you gotta at least pivot into the older audience with that messaging, because there wasn't nothing wrong with it. It was just too sharp.
No, I feel you. I mean, I think he did it for his grandma, right? And you saw something similar with Kanye. Yeah. He did 808s and Heartbreaks when his mom passed. Speaking of Kanye, that feature that Chance is on that Kanye song, what's it called? It was on Life of Pablo. I can't think of the name of that song. He does that gospel bit, and he's like,
"Also like me."
Got the horns behind it.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. That one.
Hold on,
boys.
Yeah, that shit.
I love that song.
That song's so good. So I'm saying, I get like, I felt like if he would have kept like doing that some, but like you said, Bryce, maybe not diving into it like completely, just do little bits of it. Maybe he could have been like, oh yeah, you can have this, but you can have this too.
Exactly. Like, just, because everything that he was doing and speaking to us, like, it was fine. It was just, you didn't prep your audience for that.
Yeah, no, and you're right.
Your audience was a whole bunch of kids. Yeah. It was a bunch of kids who became college students, who they were operating with a particular type of like this mindset of like, what acid rap gave them.
Yeah.
So like look at like even another good example is like, somebody who transitioned properly. I feel like Donald Glover is another one of those people. Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
We know what we got from them early projects, and then he slow walked you into this like neo soul type of energy. He didn't just all of a sudden jump out the gate and be like, yeah, we singing now. Yeah, because of the internet. Yeah.
One of the best records ever.
And that's the song.
You gotta give people. You gotta give people. You gotta give people the introduction to these things. That's the reason why Wayne had an issue when he dropped that rock album. It's like, bro, you didn't prep nobody.
Yeah, he tried to go all that skater vibe and shit. Yeah.
But even
I think. Go ahead.
But no, I was just gonna add on to what Bryce was saying, because because of the internet, he had what was it, number 3 or whatever, that song where he's like actually like singing in.
Yeah. That you talk about that rainbows, sunshine, that joint,
Mm-hmm.
Man, and it that whole project was so cool too. He had those like little YouTube tie-ins, and then he had like a script written and shit. Like, remember that? It was like he had like a play written for Because of the Internet that he like dropped randomly on his website. It's just like I feel like some of the artistry has been lost on. And Bryce, you posted a Facebook status the other day, and I was like, feels like hip hop's dead, and that's kind of what I mean. Like, I know it's not, but at the same time, I feel like we're not getting those like really impactful projects like we had in the past. Like there's like you said, Orlando, TikTok music. Like I feel like we're getting TikTok tracks and we're not getting full complete works that really hit like it used to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
No,
in my head
I
now.
no,
Well,
no, no.
really quick before we jump off of Chance, I think more importantly, like, I mean, I guess it's kind of been said a few times already, the way they present things, because of course they start out with an audience when they have an impactful project that's probably like the prime of their career at the moment. But just making that transition and making sure it gets to the right audience is where I think might, slip between the cracks because um, personally, I didn't mind Chance's gospel transition, but I just felt like the identity that he built before that, it was kind of hard to kind of like make that transition with him because I know people grow and change and whatever he is who he is, but like as a music fan, it was just like, what is this? These sounds, I'm not used to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's a thing. So within what you were saying, about hip hop and stuff, and with that post, right? I think you're talking about what I was saying, something about you missing when hip hop was the soundtrack of revolution. Like I feel that all the time because it's we got the best music whenever people, I feel, were tapped into their environment and the people around them so much more. It was a thing of like, now that it exists, now that these things exist within a very corporate structure, it it has people operating with the understanding of what is attractive, what is sonically appealing, how to make themselves look good. So you can do all these things to like really peacock yourself. But
Yeah.
then when that substance isn't there, so that's the part that where it's like I may enjoy this thing very briefly, but then when I'm looking for something to really like feed the soul a little bit, I can't go back to any of these things. I wind up going back to what's a bit more nostalgic, or the people that we enjoy who wind up being reflections of that nostalgia. And I think that that's also why, uh, to connect it with anime, I think that's why sometimes when you look around, it's like you're going to see a shit ton of throwaway anime or a
Yeah.
shit ton of just general throwaway just stuff that feels microwavable. Cause
Yeah.
like how many times you scroll through Crunchyroll and you see like 20, 30 anime and it's like different flavors of who got reincarnated
Yeah.
and all this stuff because
Yeah, yeah.
they know that those things work.
That's a good
But
transition, Bryce. Let's get into anime a little bit.
yeah, feel me? But then
Mm.
when you start to deal with like the outstanding pieces in anime, it's the Jujutsu Kaisens, it's the
Yeah.
right now I'm enjoying Sentence to Be a Hero,
Yeah.
stuff like that to where it's like, all right, there was a little bit more care put into this stuff. I rock with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm with
think
you.
social climate has changed a little bit because modern day is a little more digital than what we came up on. So there's a little bit of aspects of life that people experience different now than we did because the whole outside you've been saying this whole time about be mad. People's interactions socially and culture is just not person to person anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
No, you're not
And
wrong.
that's what makes things change and not really feel relatable or feel washed up because it's all about digital engagement.
Yeah. No, you're right about that for sure. And like you said, like you both said, it just you miss some of that like organic face to face stuff that creates inspiration and there's nothing better. I mean, COVID, I think, really killed a lot of that for a lot of folks. We got pushed
Yeah.
Hmm.
into this digital age completely, and a lot of
Yeah.
collaboration, a lot of insights with your friends really really doesn't happen as much as it used to.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why, and I think it's that's why like projects like Duppy I feel important, just off of the strength of, like, you know, I definitely, of course, you make something with the hopes that people enjoy it, right? Like I try really hard not to spoil anything within my description of W, because I want people to read it and be really, like, I want to be really surprised by, like, oh man, this is kind of, this is really fly.
Right.
So, but with that, I think what's really important is the fact that, like, I reached out to my homies, and I was like, hey, I want to do this thing, and we talked about it, and we collaborated with the music, and I shared the art, and I gave an idea of, like, hey, this is what I would like to do. Here's what this is about. Here's this stuff, and then they shared the music, and we really, like, we talked through it, and we worked on it in a way that's like, yeah, I just like what like what we do within Six Bomb Boards, of just like having conversations and sharing your art and sharing these types of things, and, like, it's important that people see what that looks like.
Shouts out Justin Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a reminder of, like, how engagement, how life, used to be back around when all these things are, were still relevant. And just bringing back those feels and tying it in with, two different expressions, which was music and his illustration.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome.
I feel like we're all just kind of constantly chasing the thing that made us feel like whatever our favorite thing was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, I'm just constantly chasing, like, what can I make that makes me feel like that kid watching Midnight Run.
Toonami at 2 a.m. Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel
Inuyasha.
Yeah.
That's my first anime.
Really nice.
Like an anime, like I want to make something like a Samurai Champloo, something that's gonna be amazing action, it's humor, but then that shit's gonna make you cry.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
A dope
like,
soundtrack to boot.
With a fire soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's literally all I'm doing, is, like, really chasing that type of energy with the hopes that, I could figure out whatever code that Watanabe cracked.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Man, the GOAT. All right, so that's a good, like I said, good transition into anime. I want everybody's first anime they ever saw, because as you already said that, Lando, but and then your favorite anime of all time. I want to know both.
Okay, bet. So it's kind of ironic, because the first two animes that I've ever watched, that I've stumbled upon and I just became an anime fan, it was Inuyasha and Cowboy Bebop.
Hey.
And you know what? It's so crazy that my favorite anime of all time, as many animes that I've seen, the animes that I'm still watching right now, I think my goats will always be Cowboy Bebop.
My
because
guy.
it's
My guy.
because it wasn't just the animation, it was the character arcs of all the characters. It was the jazz, the
Yes.
jazz music, like it was that, it was the action pack, but also the messages behind every episode, man. I mean, this anime, yes, oh yeah, and
I'm telling you,
The seatbelts, the goats.
I'm telling you, man. Dustin's the homie, because anytime we're chopping it up about this stuff, he gonna have that thing on deck where it's like us, like mine's, man. It's like mine.
Cowboy. I'm a spoiler alert. Cowboy Bebop's my goat. It's my favorite anime ever by far.
Like watching that anime growing up, when I had, because it's like, I don't know, like, it's the first episode that I watched was when Ed got introduced, and like and I just fell in love with the show, and then I just kept watching it. Like that anime made me laugh. That anime had me locked in. That anime broke me.
Mm-hmm.
And, but like uh and then but then like going back and watching it now as an adult and seeing the messages that I missed
Yeah.
behind it, all the stuff that I went through in my life that I relate to now from that show, like Cowboy Bebop is my goal. And the thing is, it's still it's still like an anime top 10 according to the internet.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely is.
definitely. I think the very first anime that I seen, it was when I was a kid, and I think I was in elementary school. It was Zoids.
Ah, man,
Oh,
oh,
love
Yeah.
it,
dude.
man.
I hold on. Keep talking.
Well, all right. So, important question for you though.
Yeah,
Which
what's up?
Zoids? Which Zoids was your favorite?
Man, I can't remember by name, but I was always like fanned out over the yellow Zoid.
Because
Liger, something
remember
like
they
that.
had
Yes.
the two different Zoid series, and they didn't really tell you that they was two different series because there was the one where they were almost like in this battle tournament thing competing,
That was what
and
they
then there
first
was
came
Yeah.
out with, and they had the prequel,
yeah,
and the prequel, no one knew it was a prequel. They introduced it as a sequel, and everyone's like, "What the hell? What is all this stuff?" Yeah.
exactly, because
Yeah.
they were fighting a whole war and shit, and I was like, is this the same thing?
You ready for this shit? Look at
The
this.
the one I seen was the
The
prequel.
shadow
Oh,
is that Shadowfly?
jeez.
This was a
A sniper wolf.
model that I put together when I was a kid from that show, and I still have it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's legendary. But the first one I seen was when they was fighting the war. But I will say, and people get tired of hearing this, just to give warning, my all-time favorite is One Piece. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how many filler episodes there are. The character development, the storylines in between the character development, just the emotional tugs both ways where you want to celebrate and cry at the same time. And the elevation and like the progress and all of that stuff with like the artwork and animation and how it just excelled to this level I would have never thought. And just seeing all of that get better and better the more I watch it all. 1,400 episodes. I just can't get enough of it. And I'm caught up to date and waiting for the next arc to drop in spring. I'm trying to kind of catch up on my manga and my shonen though. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to always be my favorite. Number two is Seven Deadly Sins.
Ooh.
Okay, that's solid. That's solid. See, for me, the so my first anime is kind of it's weird because it's like the first anime that I saw was Ronin Warriors, but
Hell yeah.
the first anime that I watched and knew I was watching anime was Demon City Shinjuku.
Okay.
Because this it was at that time when they were showing anime on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
Like you remember like
I
early
do
it was,
remember that. Yeah.
yeah, it was like late Friday night and early Saturday morning. And I
Yeah, because it was on
remember
like before Battlestar Galactica reruns.
exactly.
Yeah. And
And I
Stargate and all
remember
that.
I used to watch Ronin Warriors on UPN all the time. And then whenever they really started to like when we were starting to actually learn, like, okay, wait, hold on, this thing, we know these cartoons are different. What
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah.
And then somebody came through and was like, yo, this is anime. Well, they were at the I think they were calling it at the I think the first thing I heard was Japanimation, but
Yeah.
the
I think that's what I heard first too. Yeah.
yeah. And then finally I saw Demon City Shinjuku, and I remember I was up mad late watching this, and I remember thinking to myself, like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble. I love it, man. But then Kawajiri's work, like I wound up getting like I just wound up loving everything that Kawajiri did.
Yeah.
All that freaky shit at some point. But them I would say my GOAT. It's hard because it moves so much. Like if you catch me at the right time, I'm gonna tell you Champloo. If you catch me at the right time, I'm gonna tell you Bebop.
Yeah.
But then also, just from an illustrator's perspective, I'm obsessed with Jujutsu Kaisen. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is probably one of the most outstanding pieces of animation. Like every episode, it's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And that first season of One Punch Man too.
So much detail.
Yeah. It's kind of it depends on how I feel, really.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right, we got one more.
So for me, and I'm sure that my brothers already know this, the first anime that I ever watched was Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball. Yes. And my GOAT is Dragon Ball Z. Period.
Yeah, it is.
It's like it's always been that constant in my life, especially with everything that I do. Especially with my music, like it's always been a constant reminder to my motto is that there's always room for improvement. No matter what it is that I do, no matter how good I am at whatever it is that I do, I can always be better. And that taught me before I even knew the concept or the terminology for it. But having iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Even someone that I would consider better than me to spar with me on the record, and they do better than me, then I go back in with them and I do better than them, and we just continuously grow like that.
Yeah,
So
he's
Dragon
definitely got
Ball,
the Saiyan attitude.
Love that.
definitely. Like I'm always looking to spar with somebody. I always want somebody to
Yeah.
be better than me, and then I can be better than them. They can be better than me. We can just keep on going like that, so we can always be better.
Yeah.
Are
Yeah,
y'all?
he's definitely always trying to spar.
I love
Is
that.
everybody hype about the new Dragon Ball Super announcement?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can't
So
wait.
I was seeing a lot of mixed responses online because that they said that they were essentially going through all of Dragon Ball Super and they were doing like kind of giving it the reboot treatment, right? So a lot of people were frustrated about it because they were saying, no, give us the moral arc. Don't give us a reboot of any of the things. But I think they forget that, like, as fast as time has been moving and as fast as we feel like it's been moving, that like Dragon Ball Supers actually came out a little bit further back than we remember. Like
It's
that
been a
Beerus
minute.
movie,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah. Yes,
that Beerus part, that movie is so old that like when it initially came out, it was Z, it wasn't Super.
Right.
So
yeah. That
I
came
can
out
see
before Super came out. That one and
Golden Frieza.
Resurrection of the came
Yeah.
before Super came out, and that's why when Super came out, they went ahead and put both of those movies in that just to make it a longer thing, give more detail to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so with that, and then so as far as the rebooting of everything, I'm not necessarily sure. Like, I mean, I'm thinking it's like because of the animation and everything, especially with all the memes that came out when Super first started with the Beerus and everything.
Yeah.
I think they just want to make it more appealing to the eye. Especially when Beerus put his hand on Goku and he fell to the ground.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that wasn't really too. That looked ugly, but maybe
Well,
they
and
just want to make it better.
It was definitely
well, you got to.
rushed. It was definitely rushed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, you got to think too. So by the time they really polished it up, we had gotten to what, like the Trunks, the future Trunks, the arc. Then
Uh-huh.
it was getting super polished. Most of the Tournament of Power stuff looked really good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then um when we got Dragon Ball Super Broly, top tier animation. You got Superhero, top tier animation. They jumped back to TV, and Daima, every single episode of Daima was gorgeous.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
Yeah.
But
if
the thing is, about Super Broly, about the Broly movie, even that one, because it was a different animator. I do believe that was like right before rest in peace my goat Akira Toriyama had passed. When that came out, and it was a different artist that had drawn it, and even that was getting a whole lot of flack because of
because
when
everybody that's bashing the art style, that's because they want it to look like Z again.
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
honestly, but I'm a part of that crowd because Z was, first of all, it's not even about Dragon Ball at this point. It's about all of anime because we can. I'm a veer off for just a second with how everything is in the world as far as people being very sensitive to certain subjects. It also translated into anime as far as people being sensitive to what their kids watch. So they took away the blood, they took
Yeah.
away the gore, they took away all that. So once
DBZ
blood and
Kai.
everything, yeah, like once that was taken away from anime, it kind of made anime like, man, like what is this? You
Yeah.
know? So that's why a lot of people give flack to a lot of a big portion of anime, but especially Dragon Ball Z,
Well, I
because
think
when Dragon Ball Z was in the '90s, you get punched in the lip, you're showing that blood coming to lip. You
Well,
know?
I think particularly, I won't say that's the case for all anime, because I think that if anything, anime has become largely more mature in a casual way. I think that shonen is is the place where, like, there's been this weird blending of like new shonen kind of leaning into being either very mature or very sexual or something, to where
Yes.
you almost don't realize you're watching shonen. But
Right.
then the legacy franchises, they don't really want, they either want to try to find a way to appeal to those trends without losing the I guess the specifics of their brands, or they're just like, nah, we just gonna dive all the way into being something that can be marketed more like toys. And I think Dragon Ball chose the toy route, and the easiest way to keep it, because we're locked in on it, and the easiest way to sell it to any of the younger people, what the kids, or at least get their parents to pay for it, is to, like, all right, we're not gonna do any of the things that we did in old Dragon Ball as far as any of the sex jokes. We're gonna pull back on a bunch of the violence. We're not gonna over kung fu it to complicate it. It's big blasts, cool fits, and here we go. And
So if
I
you
think
have
now they're
something like
kind of,
that, dude, like it's all violence. It's literally what it is. It's just violence. You feel me? Like,
Yeah, but they
turn
took
up.
away like guns and stuff from the original cut, like Bryce is saying.
exactly.
Yeah, like a lot of
Yeah.
the original toys I had growing up, they all came with guns, and I was really confused because I was like, "There's no guns in the show," but that was the stuff that they cut for the Toonami version. If you go back
Yeah,
and watch the
Yeah.
Japanese version, there's tons of that shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dragon Ball, where when Goku figured out that Bulma was actually a girl and not a guy.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
a good indicator of kind of the ebbs and flows of this is actually One Piece, because One Piece came along in the late '90s and was kind of getting popped into that ambiguous place that we were talking about with Shonen, where it was like at its worst in terms of that transition. I feel like, and then like early One Piece, it all just looked like toys, and it was very like it wasn't too gratuitous in any direction. And then later on, especially after the time skip, that's when
Oh yes.
them waists got snatched, the boobs got bigger. It was a little bit more aggressively bloody, and people was dying and stuff, and it became a different
by
thing.
the
And I
way, Nami is my future wife. I don't care what nobody say. I'll let you know.
think
Oh blah blah.
It's like, well, shouts out Sabrina in the chat. She said poor Master Roshi had his whole character censored. Yeah, like for real. If you go
Yeah.
yeah.
back, like I remember specifically a scene with Master Roshi growing up where I was like, that's weird. He wants to see girls' belly buttons, and
Yeah,
why does he
right.
want to see girls' belly buttons?
But you know what I think? What I think honestly, was the biggest foot on the door was, Jujutsu Kaisen, because Jujutsu Kaisen took like it's very blatant how much they snatched from so many successful anime when you watch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But also Jujutsu Kaisen, what it does with its violence in particular, I think kind of opened that door up to where everybody was like, okay, you don't gotta be too tame. And then they don't really oversex things, because they're like, yo, there's other anime that can do that. And I think it's stuff like that to where Dragon Ball is like, all right, if everybody is coming over here and doing this, if everybody's rocking with this and everybody's rocking with Naruto or whatever, we got to let Broly bleed. We got to do something.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the fan service has been an all time high for anime, and a lot of anime. Um,
Jeez.
some of it is just like overly distracting, and like I won't even watch some of it because of that, to be honest. Some of it's fine, but Japan, they really sell that shit in Japan, so that's why the fan service
Yeah.
is so high.
I
They get it
think
right.
everybody doesn't have like the privilege to avoid like the modern day climate. So sometimes they have to bend and break to just kind of fit in with what's going on right now. They start, but how they finish or continue is definitely going to always be different.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so we're running pretty close on time here. So why don't we go down the line, say where people can find you, what you got coming out, stuff like that. Um, what you're working on, all that good stuff. Plug yourself. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, you can find me at Marley's Chillin 859 on Instagram. Marley Carter on Facebook. And right now, music wise, Duppy is really like the center of my attention and making sure this rollout is proper for the pre launch on Kickstarter. And once it, actually launches, and being prepared to, like correctly present the comic at Comic Con at our booth, and continuing to make fun and inviting content to let people know like you know, this isn't exclusive. This is inclusive. Like, everybody's invited to have a good time with us while, we discover, wherever this puts us in this, universe, quote unquote.
Oh yeah, man.
But other than that, yeah, just like for the most part, doing my other work because I'm really active in the community, and I do work for a nonprofit full time. It's a food distribution center, so just doing stuff like that as well. But yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah.
Um, you can find me on all platforms, music wise. It's Lando B. You can find me on IG, Lando_B Lex. And as far as Duppy, I'm working on this project with my brothers. I'm also working on this rollout EP that I'm doing after we do Duppy and everything. I got an EP coming. It's called Oh my God, I forgot the name.
On the
Yeah,
spot.
All
I feel
good
it's all
music.
good.
All
Yeah,
good music.
it's called Early Retirement. Oh my God, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. But like,
Mm.
yeah, and I'm doing videos soon. Me and my brothers, we're gonna be doing content soon. Because we want to keep our Curry clan going. You know, when all this is said and done, we don't want this to be a one time thing, one time occurrence, and be like, okay, you know, we're done. No, we're gonna do our best to keep this going. So
Hell yeah.
All right, I guess I'm next. Yeah, you
oh,
can find me literally everywhere at Rock for short. ROC space FORSHORT. Rock is short for Respect Original Creation. Um, along with the Duppy and OKURI stuff happening, and working on my album. It's called "Is This What You Want?" It's a culmination of everything that everybody is to make musically. My first single dropping next month on the 10th. Is called "Couldn't Be Me." So keep a lookout for that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, just go on my Instagram, Facebook, my TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff. You can find everything that I'm doing. Shout out to B Mad because he's also got a hand in this next single. So yeah, man, holla at your boy and go and stream Power. Look out for
Yeah, go
Duppy.
check out that link on Bandcamp.
yep,
On
yep, yep,
Bandcamp,
yep.
you can get that going and everything. Follow us, follow everybody.
And I am everybody knows me on Instagram as B Mad. It's B Mad 100s. But you can generally find me if you look up Bryce Oquaye. Um, my entity is Mad Hundreds. That's where I put out my work. That's where I'm putting out an EP and projects for my brothers like OKURI and people like Tony Wavy and whatnot. So just kind of really continuing to do what I do. That people know me as the cartoonist and the animator, right? So doing what I do within that, but then also uh, really putting together more projects like this and helping people see their things over the finish line, man. I want to see more indie creators be able to get shit out and
Yes, sir.
be successful. So it's just a passion of mine right now. And then of course gonna be doing some announcing very soon for not just the Duppy Kickstarter, but then eventually um giving people when they get that in their hands, giving them the exact time frame of when they'll expect issue 2 of that, and then also big announcements for Hard Justice and Warden's Watch as well. I've been really cooking behind the scenes for a long time now. So Duppy is the focus right now, but I think this is going to be a really cool year with a lot of projects and collaboration. So catch me at Comic-Con. I'll be out there all weekend. Of course, I'm tabled up with my homie Ken Kirk, of course, and then we're gonna have the OKURI guys out there kicking it with us.
Oh yeah.
I think you guys are popping in on Friday, so they'll be running around doing their thing while we promote and whatnot, and then shout outs of course to Six Bomb Boards, all the homies, Chris, Ken, Justin, everybody, Wes, everyone. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Come check them out at LexCon, everybody. Come get some shit from Bryce. Come get a commission from Bryce. and
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, man.
thank you all so much for coming on. It's been awesome chatting. Bryce, like I said, you're kind of an honorary host at this point. So,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, we definitely appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, of course. All right. Until next
Definitely
time,
appreciate it.
y'all. Stay nerdy.
Yes,
Until
sir.
next time.